Today we are going to do an update on the crypto coin XPL Plasma. Yesterday when I dropped a video about this coin, price action was right here and I'll get into that in a second. But we also talked a little bit about this whole consolidation here. So if you want to know more about this consolidation, you should check that video out. But for today's video, it's going to be another short one because we're only going to look at this price action to look for continuation plays because we are still flying, we're still standing strong, and we are still moving towards price discovery. In the last video, I pointed out when you get a massive expansion like this, it cannot go on forever, which is exactly right. What I expected was price needed to consolidate. You needed to build liquidity under the lows and above the highs. And in this case, because we were so bullish, I expected the liquidity on the lows to get taken and then a continuation towards the upside, meaning market makers can fill extra positions here to push price up. We cannot go up in one direction. No, the market needs fuel to keep going. That's what consolidation is for. And I'm going to go into this consolidation block to see what's going on here and if market makers are preparing to push the price up again. So continue our trend, we're making higher lows, higher highs and higher lows until we did not anymore. We created a massive swing high and a swing low. When you're in an uptrend, you draw your range from high all the way towards low, and if you then come back to the 0.5, the EQ, then your range is confirmed and you're consolidating. You can also just continue the trend upwards, but this case that didn't happen. The market needed to build up liquidity for the next move. So if you're consolidating, what do you want to wait for? Well, you want to wait for a deviation of your range, meaning you need to take liquidity on either one of the sides to know you're either distributing or you're accumulating. In this case, we have our first deviation at the low, so let's mark it out. We need to extend our range to that low, and because our first deviation is at the low, we could say, okay, market makers are now accumulating, or at least trying to accumulate on XPL. And that's what we did here. We took out the range low. This was the part that brought you towards new lows. That's what we gained, indicating an order flow switch. We've made a higher high, so you could search for that higher low for new higher highs and continue from there. Our accumulation is complete if we reach the range high. Is that the case now? No. So I want to draw in multiple scenarios where we can still ride this train if you haven't bought in here yet. We could still build up liquidity highs, meaning if we start to reject here from this supply, we could still expect a pullback and maybe take up some extra liquidity to fuel our next move up. Because this is a possible accumulation, we want to draw in multiple scenarios where we could play into it. So, when we have our first deviation, you either want to test extreme demand, you want to grab extreme liquidity, or you want to get another deviation below this low and then a pullback inside your range. And that is a really strong model to go towards the range high. Looking at what we have done now is we are building liquidity, meaning price could return here to fill up some extra orders, keep building these liquidity highs here, and then get a massive expansion up. We are going to go after this range trading scenario. We're going to take a look at some extra targets on XPL. But for now, let's draw on these scenarios. First, you need to take extreme liquidity or touch extreme demand. Have we done that? Let's take a look. No, we have not done that because if you zoom in at this deviation, what happened here is this push up brought you towards new lows. So if you flip it, this is the part where buyers came through and pushed the price up. So that would also be your demand zone. Let's draw it in. And now you can see what a great scenario we have pointed out. If we do manage to get a correction all the way towards here while trending down, getting the change of character again, we have a really high convincing play to move upwards. So this would be a scenario. Another deviation below the low would be the scenario. But if this never happens again, let's see how we can continue this trend. On the 15-minute time frame, this is your last clear pullback that brought you towards new highs. So you could say If we return to here, we could see some sort of reaction. So this is another scenario that you could look for longs. The same way as down here, we want to wait for local confirmation. We want to wait for the market makers to step into the markets to then trade with them. Now let's take a look at price discovery targets. If you get in a trade while you're still moving in this range, target number one would be your range high, sitting at $1.45. Let's take a look at our price discovery targets. The first three price discovery targets are $1.45, then 1.85 and 1.65. If XPL Plasma really managed to get through and really pump up that much, then we can take a look at these targets, which are 1.88, 1.91, and pretty much $2. That would be a great target and also a really good gain. This is also going to be the technical analysis on XPL Plasma. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and also subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more of these kind of trading scenarios and trading plans, then make sure to also join the free Discord linked in the description. I'll see you there. Peace.